Vert Wheeler is probably one of the most inconsistent drivers ever. Actually, I lied. He is the most inconsistent driver ever. Actually, I lied again. He's consistently inconsistent, and yet twice he has proven himself to be the best driver. Once in the world race, reaching the wheel of power first, and once in AcceleRacers, beating the realms in the ultimate race without AcceleCharges. And all of this, with all of these things considered, there is still dismay in the AcceleRacers community. Where should he be put in tier lists? Should he even be at the top of those tiers? There is still much doubt, which has caused me to ask this question to myself. Is Vert a one-trick pony? Now, let's look at Vert's entire driving history. Vert at just 16 years old got a perfect score on the driving test, written and practical, which is the one thing that brought him to Tesla's attention, giving him that iconic Diora 2. Just, oh, look at that car, oh. Already we see that Vert has some extreme raw talent, however, he's not used to actual racing. On to the next bit. Vert has a lack of experience during the world race. We see this during his practice run with Taro. His inexperience accidentally presses the wrong button, causing him and Taro to crash. Did he need to press that button? No. We also see his lack of experience in the first leg of the world race, failing to dodge Kurt and him just being stressed overall, and him failing to recover from his crash. Vert is clearly outclassed by most of the drivers in experience, but not in talent, which is why he's the first driver to ever complete the loop-to-loop. This in itself shows his skill and ingenuity, his ability to use a manual brake, spinning and repeating the process in such a small radius. This takes a lot of skill in my mind, as I also drive a manual car, and yeah, I would not even attempt that. The next major event is that we have this giant spinning wheel in the second leg of the world race, in which, remember, Skeet broke the speed barrier driving through. We see that you have to get the right speed at the right time to get through the wheel, a feat which most experienced drivers can do, and most normal drivers can do also. However, the wheel was damaged when Vert and Banji had their turn, and rotated at an incalculable speed. And wouldn't you know it, both Banji and Vert somehow, somewhere, got through that. Now I don't know about you, but this was definitely not skill. This was pure gosh damn luck, and I'm pretty sure they just used up all their plot armor in that leg of the world race. Now Vert didn't really do anything else up until the fourth leg of the world race, so we just skip the third leg. This takes us to Vert's duel with the clip car. This in itself shows how good Vert is at driving, especially in high pressure situations, fighting for his life. However, he's very lucky that he had the boosters, as Vert literally just spams the hell out of that whenever he's in trouble. Now come to think of that, in fact, if he didn't have the jet boosters, he would very well be dead. He would have quite literally died in the first leg of the world race due to the lava, died in the second leg of the world race due to falling off the track, be stuck in the third leg of the world race, and he would have lost the fourth leg of the world race to the clip drone. However, he does do a very skilled maneuver against the clip drone, which just shows some of that raw talent we've been talking about. But you know what isn't raw talent? When he duels Kurt and he does that random flip out of nowhere. You see, the thing is with skating and flipping, you have control over your center of gravity, the board, and how you balance. In Vert's instance, he has only control over in deciding to do that action that he somehow landed. You know how lucky this guy is, the fact that he was able to land a random ass flip from ice, angled at the perfect way to do that specific flip? He's very, very lucky. He could have easily just done what Kurt did, except he would be flipping while hitting the ice. Now that is luck. Now one thing to note is that Kurt hits him and he actually does a really good recovery on ice in comparison to the first version where he got hit in the first leg of the world race. The next thing I have to add is that grabbing the wheel of power was definitely not skill. You just have to use your nitrox and be at the right speed and grab the wheel of power. Anyway, continuing on, Vert displays more of his skill against the clipped drivers, and when he's dodging a freaking laser from Galorem, like, you can't tell me Vert isn't skilled for not dodging that laser while driving upwards, not knowing where the laser's even coming from. Now that takes some serious maneuvering, reflexes, and skill. So he's actually pretty skilled in World Race, although he's lucky because of his boosters. Now, on to AcceleRacers. By the Storm Realm, we can see Vert is making these brash, inexperienced decisions trying to fight the drones, along with him being a little rusty and washed up. His only saving grace again for the Storm Realm is his boosters, and that's the reason why he also gets far in the Swamp Realm, is because of his boosters. Now obviously Vert is a decent driver in AcceleRacers, but he relies too much on other things because he thinks he's too good. Now we get to the Water Realm. Literally zero skill is displayed with him becoming first, mainly because of the Hyperpod carrying him, and even then, Vert just throws for no reason, displaying his pride and ignorance, as we've seen and discussed so many times before. The same can be said for the Junk Realm. Although he is relatively humble, he uses his gosh damn boosters to get out of every situation again, twice might I add, saving him twice might I frickin' add, and he still races okay, but he's relatively more cautious and slower, which is actually a detriment to him and his skill. Then we have the Ruins Realm, in which he has decent motorcycling skills and reactions, up until he doesn't, and he breaks his leg, which obviously goes on to the ultimate race. The ultimate race in which he has to complete every single realm without failing. Now you might say he had previous knowledges of the realm, but you've got to recognize that he kept up with Galorem, who had all the AcceleRacers, which is an amazing feat in itself. Not to mention, he had a broken leg while doing all this. Now, after discussing all of this and thinking it through in my head, Vert in the World Race has some serious talent and luck, but he's not a one-trick. He just happened to be good and lucky at the same time, in which, most drivers are good and lucky in real life also, and this led him to be the best driver in the world. In AcceleRacers, however, he's a bit washed up, and it's almost as if victory had defeated him, and so he just sucked for ages. However, once he got his act together and realised he wasn't racing for himself but for others, he concentrated, humbled himself, won, and kept up with Galorem with all of the AcceleRacers, even recognised by the racing god. In conclusion, in the World Race he had skill and luck and boosters. In AcceleRacers he had the boosters again, but he was washed up but brought that skill back in the Ultimate Race. Therefore, in my opinion, in my conclusion, Vert is not a one-trick, as he's proved himself to be the best driver twice. What are your thoughts? And as always, thanks for watching.